new week, a new month, and a new quarter. So I wanted to kind of give you my thoughts on, where I expect Bitcoin to be going and trade ideas that I'm looking at and things of that nature. So real quick, shout out to the sponsors of these streams, PrimeXBT. If you want to support me, you want to support the channel, the best way to do that, use the PrimeXBT link in the description of this video. Use code MAIN50, deposit some money, get on there. You can trade equities on there. You can trade gold and silver with me on there. And that's the best way to support me as it stands right now. So obviously, as you can see here, looking quite bullish, looking like this wants to break out. So let's look at the monthly, right? So starting out on the monthly here, we have the run of the low, the break of the high that led to the low, and a big push up, a retest, and another push up. Super bullish, high time frame potential bottom here, right? We have the super long accumulation period. We have a deviation of the range low. We have a breakout, retest of the high, and another leg. So just looking at the monthly chart, I've talked about this before and I've posted charts about it, right? Based on just the monthly, I think a move up into here is not completely out of the question. Now, this is obviously the monthly. So what can happen? We can do this, and we can do this, and then we can go up there, and these are huge ranges. So I'm not just saying buy here and sell at 42,000. That might not work because we might dip to 25,000 first. And what are you going to do? Are you going to hold that entire way down? I do think that this is a reasonable area to target based on just how the monthly is looking. Very clear breakout of this range. I think this is the next draw on the monthly chart on the high time frame. Now, would I like us to do this first? Sure, because then I can long some more and buy some more spot potentially. But if we don't do that, you just got to be prepared that this is in an uptrend and we just got to play longs. Not too much on the near term on the monthly here for us to do. We'll look over at the weekly now. Weekly chart looking, relatively bonkers as well. So we have this setup that we were watching here, right? With this weekly kind of breaker that just never got retested. So I wanted to see potentially this breaker get tagged for some sort of long opportunity here. Wanted to see something like this and then target again up towards that monthly area, which is confluent with this weekly supply up here. You also have this weekly fair value gap up here. So lots of confluence in terms of areas above price that I want to target. It's just a matter of getting into the trades, right? Are we going to get a deep pullback? Was this the deep pullback and we're now just going to have another huge leg? Or are we going to get another pullback before the next leg? I don't know. But again, I'm just playing level to level. I'm not trying to overcomplicate it. We came up into this weekly resistance here, a little bit of rejection. Now we're pushing right back into it. I don't suspect that this holds for too long. We start trading and holding above 28,800, which is right about where we're trading at right now. I think we run this high up here at 34,000 rather quickly. So again, weekly bullish, just like the monthly. You have a clear range, deviation, test the high, pull back to the lower part of the range. Now we're breaking out. Do we get a retest of the high and then we go up? I don't know. Right now, it's looking like this just wants to put in a big green candle this week right up into here. And if that happens, that's okay, right? We will look to get into long positions. So again, weekly time frame, nothing really super close to price. I talked about, this 25,200 area and below is an area I'd like to long. That's based on this weekly breaker here. Okay, zooming in now to the 12-hour chart. So now we're getting into more of the intraday stuff or intraday, whatever the fucking term is, and stuff where we can actually frame a trade idea. So what we're going to try and do here is lay out a couple of scenarios that I think are possible. And I'll show you guys kind of how I plan on getting involved based on what happens. As you guys know, I always talk about this. I'm looking for if this, then that scenarios. If this happens, I will do that. If that happens, then I will do this. That is how I trade. In my last video that I posted before I went home to visit my folks over the weekend here, we were in a short based on this SFP, and the logic was simple. I thought maybe we've got this kind of range here. Okay, we ran the high. Maybe we run back and take out these lows. That is the entire premise of that trade, was we ran the high, ran the low, ran the high. Maybe we go back to the lows here. This is kind of the 12-hour range I'd been working with, but if I'm sticking true to how I analyze the charts, right? We did break above a key high here on the 12-hour here, because you have this low to this high here, and then we made a new high here. So technically, you now have this 12-hour bullish range. So when you frame it this way, this more looks like the retest into the lower part of the range right here. This was the buy. And very simply, it's just this 12-hour range, SFP within this 12-hour range. This is right into into your OTE, right into your sweet spot. If I pull the fib from here to here, that's right on the 0.62, 62, 7.70.5, 79, spikes right into it. I wanted to see a potential low time frame long form here. We had a lot of confluence down here. You have this order block. You also have this, which is effectively a breaker. So we're actually kind of in this entire breaker zone. You guys know how I like to mark these based on this up move that took out this low over here. So this is an area that it makes sense to look for longs in based on how I analyze the markets. Now, I initially shorted here at a really good entry. I covered some here. I'm still holding 75% of my short. So obviously now I'm back at break even on this short. And I believe my stops are actually probably getting triggered because my stops close. My stops are above here. I closed 25% on the sweep here. Round tripped a good healthy chunk of the short, which sucks, but it is what it is, right? I thought we were going to trade a little lower. I wasn't on screen. It is what it is, right? I wasn't home. I was driving. It's like a 5-hour drive to get home here. So I did not manage the trade at all yesterday. I got home. I was tired. Woke up. We were trading down here. So I thought, okay, maybe this is still going to roll over, but just pushed up again here on the 12-hour. So looking at this, breaker, sweep, push up. This next 12-hour candle doesn't close for a while. This is going to be the high to watch, right? And you can watch this one here. See how we close relative to any of these three highs. If it's a big SFP, then maybe we look to hop back into shorts. But right now, this looks bullish. Go down to the hourly here. So we had our kind of classic setup that I like, right? So we have the SFP, we have the break in market structure here, and then this is your breaker. The reason I didn't take this long myself, I would have probably wanted to have my stop down here. Should not come back below here. Got the break, got the retest. If I would have had my stop at the breaker, sure, the risk reward makes sense. But with the stop all the way down here, I just didn't think the RR was there for the long because we basically would have had to target well into 30,000, right? 30,400 just to get a 2-to-1 R. It doesn't mean that this can't happen. It absolutely can. But I thought the RR was a little loose to just be entering here. So I wanted to see, you know, I could have had it below the breaker and that would have been better. If I took the long, I obviously did not. Based on how I was looking at the chart, I'm like, I think this is where the invalidation is because we could very well trade below some of these lows and then go up. And then that would have given me the tighter invalidation I was looking for. But it looks like it might just be going off of this breaker, right? So pretty straightforward stuff. You know, unfortunately, I'm not in this trade, but hopefully the logic makes sense, right? We have our 12-hour analysis, bullish range, bullish SFP, clear upside objectives, 12-hour bullish order block, go into the hourly. Within that 12-hour bullish order block, we got a bullish swing failure pattern and we got a break in market structure here. So that's all the ingredients for a trade. So if you guys follow me, you know how I trade by now. You know the type of things I like to see to get in a setup. That's the top-down analysis to give you this long right here, right? I didn't take it again. I'm not trying to say I'll take it. This is obviously hindsight, but hopefully the thought process makes sense. This is how I would have broken the charts down and how I would have made my decision. Just looking at this objectively, how I mark the charts, this looks bullish to me and it looks like it wants to trade higher. We'll have to wait and see what happens. It's Tuesday. This looks like it wants to break out. You can throw on Monday's range here. I gave you guys the setup here, how it played out. How do you get in this at this point? I would need to see some sort of sweep of a low. Maybe this one, maybe this one, maybe this one, and then a break in market structure to get long. So imagine we have a SFP here and then a break in market structure. That would be how I would get in now if it does pull back. It might not. This could very well just go up from here. And if that's the case, I will not be in the trade. But if we get that kind of a pullback, then I will have potentially an opportunity to get into a levered long. But right now it looks pretty good. I think the only bearish case is that this is just a range still and we ran the high and now maybe we're going to run the lows. We do have liquidity below in the form of that weekly bullish breaker and below these lows. There's a lot of froth in the market. A lot of people are very much like, hey, we're going to 30K, Ethereum to 2K. A lot of people long. So there is potential that this can sell off still. But right now, how I mark up the charts, it looks bullish. So we're going to have to wait and see. I do want to see how the next kind of handful of candles close. If we're just trading above here or here, but we're not really getting any consistent closes up there, it could just be a deviation, right, of one of these highs and then sell back off. So that's very much possible. The other option here is you kind of just wait. So if we see here on the 12-hour, this SFP should now hold. So if we start trading trading below this low, then maybe you short it for a bigger move down. But right now, I wouldn't fight the trend. The trend appears to be up. Ethereum very clearly broke out. So it's just a matter of, okay, how do I get involved and what are the areas that I'm potentially look to do so? So that to me is, you know, if you want to get on the long side, it's got to be some sort of sweep of these lows to get involved within this gray box. On the short side, any sort of deviation above these highs here that then become weak would be the reason to short. So if we get another push up, trade up here, and then back below the high, then boom, there's your risk, there's your entry, and we're trading this all the way back into the range. That'd be the only kind of short setup I really see here. But it looks to me like this wants to break out, and it looks to me like it wants to break out and run up into these highs over here. So if we do get that big breakout, these highs over here where I'm interested, I'd say still remain cautious as long as we're trading below 28,800. That's the number I kept saying in Telegram. As long as we're below this high, I think still cautious. I would not chase along here. I would wait for some sort of dip or some sort of breakout. If we start trading above here and put in bullish market structure, the next level above there, in my opinion, is up here, 32,000. So if we're gonna be really bullish, you can miss the next 3% to the upside and get in higher, and there's not a big deal there, right? It's not a big deal in my opinion. Again, if you want a confirmation on the short side, wait for us to break and close below here. If you want confirmation on the long side, wait for us to break and close above there. Anything in between, you're kind of anticipating. You're saying, okay, I think this is going to now bounce back up, or I think this is going to reject and trade lower. If you want the confirmation trade, I think those levels are pretty obvious, and the upside is still there. So people are like, oh, don't chase the breakout, blah, blah, blah. To me, longing here is riskier than longing above here. And the reason being, longing here, we can still very easily reject. But if we start closing above this high and putting in decent market structure, you have a large leg, a 10% move to the next level up at 32K. Plenty of opportunity to make money on that leg, not guessing if it's going to happen or not a little early. The hourly just put in another bullish market structure break. We have our low, our high, our low, higher high. This is now looking like a higher low, potential higher high here. So let's see, do we get a pullback? We'll have to wait and see, but it's putting in bullish market structure on the hourly. That could potentially lead to bullish market structure on the 12-hour. 12-hour range, right? Remember, is here and here. This would be kind of internal range here. So if we close this next 12-hour above here, that's bullish. Same as here. You have kind of internal range market structure, but the 12-hour market structure is this low to this high. So if this is a higher low, we now need to see a close above here for a higher high. But the hourly's already started to turn up. Let's see if it continues through to the high time frames. We'll be monitoring, but if I'm not in a position, I've got alert here, alert here, alert here, and then alerts at these lows. So 5 or 6 alarms saying, hey, if we start interacting with one of these highs or lows, I want to be watching, engaging the reaction. Because if I put an alert here, we run up here and then SFP and then start putting in some low time frame bearish structure, I might want to hop in a short, and vice versa. If I have an alert here, we trade below here, but then it's an SFP, then we break market structure to the upside, I want to get in the long. So that's what I would be doing. I'd be setting alerts and I'd be waiting and seeing, because unless you long this dip yesterday or before this spike, you're chasing on the long side, and on the short side, you're shorting a breakout right now. So you got to be careful. Start looking at Ethereum. So Ethereum to me is a lot cleaner on the 12-hour. So I'll start at the high time frame. So Ethereum hasn't performed as well as Bitcoin off the bottom. Bitcoin has performed stronger. You just look at these two, right? Here's your accumulation. It's already broken out. Ethereum has not yet. So you could argue that Ethereum is lagging. If you look at BTC dominance, it's been going up. So BTC's been the more dominant asset this year. Better upside performance. You look at FBTC. Most of this year, FBTC's been going down. So eventually, Ethereum is going to take the reins. And usually what we see happen in any sort of crypto rally is you see Bitcoin lead the rally, then you see Ethereum and other major altcoins catch up while Bitcoin generally starts going sideways, and then you see the money flow into your mid caps and then flow into your lower caps, and then usually everything has a big correction and a big old dumperooski. You can go see that happen over and over again. Go look at previous Bitcoin rallies. Look at just last all-time high. Here's your Bitcoin rally in April. Then we start going sideways. So we rally into April, then we start going sideways. What happens to Ethereum? It's down here when Bitcoin is at all-time high. Then Ethereum takes over while Bitcoin's going sideways, and then everything collapses. This move was very much in line with that, right? So Bitcoin went up from January, February, March, and then topped out in April. And then Ethereum was consolidating while Bitcoin was pushing all-time high. Then when Bitcoin started going sideways and doing this, Ethereum went on its rally. We could see something similar gearing up right here. If you look at Ethereum, it has not broken out yet like Bitcoin. Bitcoin has already had that big high time frame breakout of the long accumulation range, right? That big box here. Ethereum is still within it. So if we look at the weekly, very much bullish, right? We have a potential bullish weekly order block forming here. That weekly breaker setup that I wanted to see play out on Bitcoin, it never retested. Look what happened on Ethereum. Up candle for down move that took out a low, break the high, retest, pushing. Looking at the weekly chart, this looks like here and then here is coming. A lot of people are talking about 2K as a level. I don't think 2K is very relevant. I do think this high obviously is important here, which is around $2,000. So this high will get run. But I think if we really break out, we're going to snap up into this weekly fair value gap, which is this gray box from this candle here to there. It was only downward price action. So avoid, some people call it, whatever you want to call it, an imbalance, displacement, or value gap. I don't care. It's this box. This is the draw to me. This high, then this box. So if this is going to continue to push up, this is the perfect type of setup to send us there based on the weekly. So the weekly on Ethereum looks very good, looks very bullish. Now the question is Ethereum going to begin to outperform Bitcoin, or is Bitcoin going to have the next leg up still and then maybe it's Ethereum's time? So the way that we'll answer that is by looking at Ethereum BTC. But real quick, we'll finish the analysis on Ethereum USD. So there's your 12-hour breaker. What happened within the breaker? 12-hour SFP, another break in market structure, another break in market structure. This is just straight up bullish. Definitely was a long setup down here. Probably this. Stop below here. There's your breaker play, right? So similar to the one I showed you on Bitcoin, this would have been an option. And then another one right around here, because this never got took. So right here, you could see a breaker play. There's your high that broke the low. Very deep retrace, but your stop would be below the wick. There's your next leg. So it's bullish, straight up bullish. Gave you kind of the bullish triggers. So Ethereum looks good. We have this 12-hour breaker that's playing out right now. We just broke out of this range that we've been in. So Bitcoin is still within this range. Ethereum broke out. You have this 12-hour candle closing through the high here. So if I'm looking at just Ethereum in a vacuum, what do I see? I see a low here, and then I'm waiting for a high to form. Maybe this is the high. Maybe we push higher, but I'm waiting for a range to form, and then I'm looking to buy the dip. So right now, let's assume this 12-hour candle closes here and the next 12-hour candle closes red. Then I have my 12-hour range and I'm looking to buy the lower part of that range in this 12-hour order block. And what would I want to see in this 12-hour order block? Bullish price action. That's simple. So I still need to wait and see. This breakout is in progress because you could see here, for example, you have your low and then you're like, okay, maybe this is the high, but then the next candles go up. That was never a swing high, right? I need to see a swing high form here to get my 12-hour range. So right now, the top of this 12-hour move, we don't know where it is yet, but wherever it comes in, maybe it's here, maybe it's up here, this will become my range. This swing low to wherever this next 12-hour swing high is formed, and then that will be the range in which I operate and which I look to buy the dip. I need to know where the high is, so it's going to have to put in 2 more 12-hour candles, right? We're going to have to see where this one closes, and if the next one closes lower, then that will be my swing, because you'll have a high, a higher high, a lower high. That would become my 12-hour swing. Now I'm looking to potentially buy dips into here if I get it. Obviously, anything can fucking happen. This can trade straight to 2K from here without pulling back at all. But that's how I operate, right? I mark out the levels. I wait for price to get to those levels. I look for opportunities to get involved. Simple as that. Still very early in the week, but we do have this here on Ethereum. So this is a swing high. This is a potential weekly bullish order block. So if we close the weekly above here, 1857, this is now a weekly bullish order block, and any sort of pullbacks into this area would be me wanting to long if I see some sort of lower time frame. So if it's the weekly, I'd probably want to see the 12-hour chart put in a bullish SFP or, you know, something of the sort. So Ethereum BTC, we've been in this range forever. And what usually happens, right? We get maximum bearish on ETH here. Bitcoin's the best, to the flippening, Bitcoin maxi land, the flippening. And now we are coming into the lower part of the range. range. So I don't want to be looking for shorts down here necessarily. I want to be looking for potentially reasons to get long into this lower part of the range here. We're into this weekly fair value gap. So this is this high to here. This is only upward price action. Fair value gap, the down candle, broke market structure, left a fair value gap. It's a nice order block. So what do we have coming up? ETH Shanghai. So there's a major Ethereum ETH update. I don't know why I say ETH. I don't know, guys. There's a major Ethereum update coming. Timing wise, could be interesting, right? Maybe we see a rally going into that and then a dump, or maybe we see a dump into that and then a rally afterwards. I don't know, but this is going to be a very important chart to watch. I do think that this is due for a bit of a bounce here, and I posted this yesterday, and then today's candle was quite bullish. Even a few days ago, I posted this down here. I said, I think this is due for some sort of mean reversion. So I'm basically just assuming, okay, we have our weekly bullish fair value gap. We're in the lower part of this high time frame range. We have this 12-hour downswing. I'm thinking, okay, maybe we retrace into here a little bit. That's all. We are coming up into some old lows here, so this could just puke back down. So this is the chart that you are going to want to watch if you are actively trading and you're trying to pick which of these coins you want to be involved with, right? Do you want to long Bitcoin or Ethereum? Let's assume both coins are going to break out. Ethereum's going to go higher and Bitcoin is also going to go higher. Which one do you want to long? That question is complex, but the most basic way to look at it, or the most basic way I look at it, I say, first of all, what chart is cleaner to me? If I see a setup very cleanly on Bitcoin and I don't on Ethereum, generally I'll take Bitcoin. But the second layer is, what is ETH BTC doing? Because if ETH BTC is bullish, if it's putting in higher highs and higher lows, ETH is likely going to be the higher beta play. It's going to outperform to the upside, and that's the coin you're going to want to long. And again, this type of analysis can be done for any coins. You can compare anything together. You can compare any assets together, and using the fraction, you can determine which of the two is stronger. So this is due for a bit of a mean reversion, but it still looks bad, right? Like, as much as this is potentially a weekly higher low, for now, the daily chart is very much in a downtrend. You have your high, low, lower high, lower low. So probably a lower high. So maybe Ethereum, right? Last couple days, Ethereum's been outperforming Bitcoin, but for now, this is still very much in a downtrend. But I do think that this is due for a bounce, and there could be a period here. We're seeing that a little bit the last couple days already, where Ethereum starts to lead the move and is stronger than Bitcoin. And you can see, right? Bitcoin's already broken out. Now it's kind of going sideways. Ethereum looks like it's ready to rip. So maybe that's what we see here, right? Maybe we see this bounce. I don't know how high, but Ethereum leads the next move up. And then we decide, okay, is this going to actually now break market structure and go back to the range highs? Or is it a lower high and we're going to trade back down? I don't know. But if I'm confident in at least this part, I can use that to make a decision, right? And so if I think that ETH BTC might bounce and the setup for the long on ETH USD is better, that's kind of like double confluence, right? I think ETH BTC is going to go up, and the setup I see on ETH USD is cleaner. That's the one that I want to play. So that's what I'm looking at right now on Ethereum BTC. I'm trying to say, I do think that this is due for a bounce. We're getting that bit of a bounce now. Question is this resistance here? Are we going to reject from these old lows? Because if we reject from these old lows, even if everything goes up, Bitcoin's going to go up more. But based on how this chart looks, ETH Shanghai coming up, I do think there could be a period of time here where ETH actually gets to take the driver's seat for a little bit, but it has been getting smoked. It is in a downtrend. It has not broken any market structure to the upside as of yet. So keep that in mind. But this is what I'm watching for right now. A retracement into this 12-hour leg and then potentially lower again. Right now, if I had to pick one of these to long, Ethereum's setup is cleaner. I don't really see the setup here on Bitcoin currently. Maybe some sort of sweep within the zone. But if Ethereum gets a decent pullback, this is super clean looking to me. So the dollar, we ran this big low over here, had the huge rally, and we basically fully retraced this move after running the high here. So I wanted to see us bounce from this weekly order block, right? So we have this weekly order block here. This is what I'm hoping happens for the dollar, right? I kind of want to see this. I want to see up here. I don't know how high, maybe up here, maybe higher, but then I want to see a lower high and then a dump. And basically this is like a pullback in crypto and risk, and then the next leg up to 40 or however high it wants to go. That's kind of what I wanted to see. We might not get that. This might just roll over from right here and take out this low. So you got to keep that in mind. We SFP'd here. here. We got the reaction, but this move is basically fully retraced at this point. So I'm watching it. We have this weekly order block here. We started bouncing from it. I got bullish on the dollar and I was just straight up wrong. I was like, okay, here's the bounce. Maybe we bounce up to 104 now, but it just came up here and then rejected. Got another bounce, SFP'd, sold off. So this just looks weak. We've run these lows that I'd marked, right? We've run all those lows. Can it still bounce from here? Sure. But really, this is a 12-hour, kind of down leg that we've put in here. It's got to really do some work to start looking good. Initially, I think I would like to see it reclaim 102 basically. And then maybe we can start working in a thesis that this is a higher low. But right now, this is just looks like a full retrace of this move. And gun to my head, this looks like what's going to happen next. Brief bounce and then another leg down. That's what I think looks the most likely based on the chart right now. However, I'm still open to the idea of the dollar getting a bounce, but it needs to hold this structure. This needs to be a higher low here. Even if we don't go back to this for a decent relief rally and, potentially a pullback in other assets, this needs to hold as a higher low. The dollar weakness has been extremely apparent all over, right? This is the start of March, basically. March 7th. Where was Bitcoin on March 7th? Down here at 21,000. Where was Ethereum? Down here at 1450. Where was ES? Down here at 3,800. Where was gold? Down here at 1,800. Gold is up almost 10% since the dollar topped out there. Silver up even more, 25% since the dollar top. So not only has the chart looked weak, all of the things that are denominated against the dollar have been ripping. Let's look at something that's numerated against the dollar. So if the dollar's the denominator in this is effectively, right, DXY. So if the DXY is very weak, what happens to this fraction? It gets bigger. Price goes up. Now, if the DXY, the dollar, is the numerator, as in this pair here, dollar CAD, if the dollar here is weak, this fraction goes down. What is gold? XAU USD. So if you have a weak dollar, that's generally bullish for this chart. It's not always a one-to-one, right? You can have a weak dollar, but Bitcoin can be weak as well. But what I'm trying to explain here is that is how cross-market analysis works. And this is why you can look at Ethereum BTC, because both Ethereum and Bitcoin can be going up. But if this chart is in an uptrend, that means Ethereum is stronger than Bitcoin. And that means if you look at the USD pairs, this is going up more than the BTC USD pair. Even though they both went up, if all of these conditions are met, that's how you determine the relative strength. So that's true for the dollar. You can use the dollar, look at it against Bitcoin, look at it against the euro. Look how bullish the euro is. Look how bullish anything denominated against the dollar is going up. Anything numerated with the dollar is going down. I know it seems basic, but that's something that people don't understand. It's like, this is a fraction. BTC is an asset. USD is another asset. BTC USD is a fraction. Bitcoin versus the US dollar, denominated in US dollar. So if you're looking at it in that essence, you can then use that knowledge that I just kind of explained to you there to do cross-market analysis between the dollar, between other coins, between different currencies. You can do all of that shit. So I drew this out last video. I'm like, hey, this could be what plays out on ES here. It's still possible, but goddamn, this move is aggressive. I totally thought that this trend line was going to break, right, on one of these pops, and this was going to roll over and eat shit, and that was going to give us the dump to 25.2, etc. on Bitcoin. But this has just kept pushing. What has led this? Like, if you look at Microsoft, right? I mean, look at the rally some of these tech stocks have had. Tesla up 100%, up 25% in the last month. What's another one? Nvidia, I think, went crazy, right? So there's a lot of stocks that are heavily weighted in the SPX that just rallied like crazy, right? And this thing just kept pushing higher. I don't believe that this is the bottom of this. If it is, what a shitty recession in terms of recessions, in that we didn't really sell off that much. But maybe, I'm wrong. Everyone wants to see another 2008 style crash where we stay down here for ages, right? We have a huge correction and it takes forever to reverse. Maybe this is it. Maybe that was the correction and we're going to start going back up again. I don't know, right? Like, this could be it. Bottom's in. That's the case. Crypto's going to go fucking mental. But I don't believe that the bottom is in on equities yet. I could be wrong. I still think there's a lot of work to be done, with inflation, managing of interest rates, all these sorts of things that go into, determining the state of the economy. Still a yet to be seen. We are seeing the dollar get hammered, right? You're seeing multiple nations come out and saying they no longer want to rely on the dollar, or you're seeing Russia and China actually start settling oil deals outside of the dollar. So that's bad all around, right? If you think about it, part of my thesis for the dollar bouncing is just how bearish everyone is on it. That's not enough, right? You still need a trade idea, but I don't believe that the bottom is in on SPX yet. Personally, I do still think that this trades lower. I would like to think that it trades back to these pre-COVID levels, but I was wrong on this rally. I was bullish here for a bounce, and then I was hoping that this was just kind of a trend line liquidity situation where this eventually eats shit. Could still happen. Right now, I'm basically just watching this range, and if we deviate back inside here, then for sure I think we get a big puke, and then, you know, Bitcoin and etc. also go down. But for now, this keeps pushing higher. Where do we go from here? If it keeps pushing higher, you start looking to the left, right? You say, okay, you know, maybe we trade up to 42, maybe we trade up to 43, and then we pull back. Maybe we don't pull back at fucking all, and that was it. I don't know, but I'm kind of watching the next few days, and I'm watching this high. I want to see how we react around this kind of consolidation cluster here, right? You have a order block here. This was a fair value gap I'd marked out. Daily bearish order block here. We did put in a daily SFP. I would want to see this part of the move retrace, get back under 4100, 4080, back in here, then sure, I think the pullback happens. Otherwise, this could just consolidate here and then leg up again and take out this high and then potentially go up to that high at 43. I don't really have a super clear bias on this at the moment. This is a big, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight green 12-hour candles. That does not happen very often. Not even close. Not even close. I don't even know when the last time we had 10 straight green ones happen. Obviously, we closed red today. We're working on a new candle now, but 10 straight green candles without a pullback is kind of crazy. It's not a trade idea. It's just more of a, okay, we're looking at a large move without a correction. That's what we're looking at here. So we have this huge price leg here with almost no pullback. So let's see, maybe we pull back into this range now. It looks bullish. This looks like a breakout, and then it looks like it kind of just wants to retest and then go higher. Very hard to say. Don't have the best read on equities right now. I was trying to find reasons for this to roll over here. I did not expect this. It is what it is, right? You reassess, there's new price action, you make a new plan. So right now I see this 12-hour price leg as potential areas to pull back, and then liquidity being above here and up here based on this high over here. How are we looking today? Are we looking big? Neck looking thick? Like, I don't know who the fuck that is. I don't know. Why am I yelling? Because I'm passionate, man. So there's a major F. Ethereum. ETH. Update. What the fuck is that? I don't know why I say F. You just sounded so Canadian. Well, that makes sense because I am Canadian. I don't know how to change that. Who would win in fight, me or BitBoy? Me, absolutely. BitBoy and I aren't in the same category. Never seen the neck in this much HD, huh? Is what you guys want to see? You fucking freaks. Is ridiculously big. I think it's kind of scary. It's going to be very hard to tell what is real and what isn't. I don't think that's a good idea, my friend. I love Terminator. Maine is the top 5 cutest crypto streamers. How many crypto streamers are there, and who's my competition? Because that's either a compliment or it's an unbelievably bad burn. So instead of calling the police or a family member or anything like that, you decided to tune in my stream and ask me to help you. I'm not sure I fully understand that question. I don't think English is your first language, which is not your fault. I mean, why did Michael Jackson like 24-year-olds? I think the problem was he liked people who were much younger than 24. Honestly, kind of tired of being gay. I feel you, bro. My girlfriend hates it. She's like, when are you gonna be straight again? I'm like, soon, baby, soon, I promise. Generally, when I buy watches, the market dumps. So if you ever see me post about buying a watch on Twitter, be prepared that the market might fucking nuke.